Hello, I'm Craig Caswell with Digital Control Incorporated, Regional Sales Manager. I'm here today to show you the function of the TensiTrak and how to hook it up for your pipe. The reamer is already set up, awaiting for the drill head to be removed and the drill pipe pulled in. We've got the swivel already attached to our reamer with a appropriately rated clevis. And at this point, the product pipe isn't available, but we're going to bring in our TensiTrak. Here we have the DCI TensiTrak that measures your pull force and mud pressure and gives us locates and depths anywhere along the bore path. For setup on this, what we want to do is I've got two separate ends on it. On one end, I have my pressure sensor. Here's where we read our mud pressure. So when I'm pulling the TensiTrak in the ground, I do not like to lead this towards the reamer. I like to drag this through the hole because I want to read my mud pressure without forcing the mud in. On this end, I have my battery cap. So my batteries are going to go inside the TensiTrak here. Now for battery power, remove our O-ring battery cap. We've got two choices for batteries. One is an adapter that comes from DCI. It adapts 3 D-cell battery compartment size to a single supercell. Now you don't want to use regular alkaline batteries in this because you won't get the battery life required. This supercell has a higher capacity for power and is very, very good in ground where you're going to get a lot of vibration and shaking. So if you're doing a bore in cobble, very hard ground, or if you have not pre-reamed the bore, you would probably be best suited to go with a lithium battery. In most cases, DCI will ship a single battery pack with the TensiTrak initially. This is basically standard 3 D-cell alkaline batteries, but they've been soldered tabbed between them and shrink wrapped. This protects them from being shaken around inside the compartment and gives a longer battery life. So we're going to just install the batteries. I've got my positive side going in, my negative side on the back, just as on a standard DigiTrak transmitter. And once I put the battery cap on, basically the TensiTrak is going to power up. It's very important when you do this process that you do not have the TensiTrak under any pull load. So you do not want to have it attached with any pull on it, because when I put the batteries in as I just have, at this point it's setting the pull force to 0 and setting the mud force at 0. If I had tension on it, it would set whatever tension was at 0. And that's not a good thing for this process. So as I stated, when I'm pulling a TensiTrak in the ground, I like to pull it with the battery cap forward. So I'm going to rotate this around. Now before I hook it up to my system, I want to make sure that my signal is good. So with my TensiTrak powered up, I should be able to bring in my F5. And now on the F5, I can verify that I have proper signal. What I'm seeing here is pull force. I do have a reading of pull force. When it's just sitting static, it'll jump around a little bit, but between 0 and 100 pull pounds. I've got my 999 signal strength, which is very important here in the middle. That indicates that I am getting full force from this. One of the more important things is to hold the button in. When I hold the button in, I'll get a status showing my battery life. It's jumping around here a little bit, but my battery life is indicated by this drill head. If it's got all 7 green bars in there, I've got a full battery. If I was seeing no bars or short, that means I need to probably try a different battery, get my battery life up. So now I know at least that my TensiTrak is powered up properly. At this point, I'm ready to make my connection. Now what I've got, basically I do not have my product pipe here yet. So again, battery cap forward. I'm going to line it up with my swivel, install my pin. Make my connection. Get it good and snug. Smack her with a hammer, proper torque. And now I've got my one end connected. Again, the main goal here, keep this connection as short as possible. And this is the perfect situation with a swivel that has a connector that will go around my TensiTrak. At this point, we're prepared. We've got everything powered up. We're ready for the product pipe to come in on this end and the drill pipe to come in on this end. Once my product pipe comes in, move down here on this end of the TensiTrak. DigiTrak sends, Digital Control sends what we call a D-ring. This D-ring will help assist keep your product pull length as short as possible. So basically with these D-rings, I'm going to insert one in, and these are rated for 26 tons. So usually enough force capability for what your product. And using this part, if I've got my product pipe with a proper pulling eye like this, I can, once my pipe's here, I can insert this into my product pipe, bring the two D-rings together. Yikes. Well, that worked good. Got to have your hammer, your schlager. Line these up appropriately. We've got a pin that goes in here. This is a case hardened machine pin. Install it in, and at this point I'd have my product pipe lined up. Now in normal situations, if I had my steel pipe here, I have a spring pin that would go in between and install this spring pin into here. So a normal situation is install this, bring in the spring pin. At this point I can beat the pin in and have a solid connection rated for the pull force that I need for my product pipe.